For months, Civic Bangalore has held the line. We have organized human chains, filed technical objection, and united neighborhoods against the disastrous tunnel road project. We have made the noise, but now we are bringing the wisdom. We are turning to the prominent citizens of our city, the experts and veterans who truly understand our urban fabric. We asked for their unfiltered views on this project. Their answers, they go far beyond just saying no. It's time to listen to the voices of reason. Watch what they have to say.
Hello, I am Ramachandra Guha. I'm a historian and sociologist living in Bengaluru for the last 30 years. I have also spent many years studying questions of urban sustainability. And it's from that perspective, both as a scholar and a citizen, that I was deeply disturbed to hear about this extraordinarily costly, wasteful, and ill-conceived project to build a tunnel road from connecting the north and the south of the city. Now, Bengaluru has India's top Institute of Scientific Research, the Indian Institute of Science, popularly known as IISc or Tata Institute. At the IISc are world-renowned transport and energy experts. And it is shocking that the government has not consulted them on the feasibility of this project. Now, if you design a complex project, you don't, anywhere in the world, if a democratically elected politician wants to think of a costly project, they consult the experts. They don't decide on their own. They have no expertise, no credibility, no domain knowledge. And here in Bengaluru, we have the IISc and its transport and energy experts. And, so they haven't been consulted. Then they haven't looked at the geology and the ecology of Bengaluru. Digging a tunnel for many miles through hard rock, and the disruption it will cause to existing traffic. Thirdly, they haven't thought of alternative methods of meeting the transport commuter requirements of Bengaluru's vast and growing population. All the transport and energy experts will tell you that public transport is the way out. Many more buses, connecting buses to the existing metro network, whereas this project, the government's project, in fact, it's the government's project, but it's the pet project of the Deputy Chief Minister. The one politician is particularly connected with it. That is only wants to favor private cars and private automobiles. So it is, and finally, it is overwhelmingly likely that it will exceed the budget by 20-50%. That always happens with these projects. There's a 40,000 crores, then there's a delay, there were 50,000, 60,000, 70,000. And of course, it must be hard since there's no transparency. We don't know how the contract has been given. We don't know whether all the money is properly accounted for, or is some of it going into the pockets of people we don't know about. So for all these reasons, from an environmental point of view, from a geological point of view, from a democracy and equity point of view, from an ecological point of view, from a cost point of view, this is a disastrous project. It is a white elephant to beat all white elephants. And it has been done with absolute secrecy, with no consultation. And so that is what makes it very disturbing. And to begin with, there should be no more progress on this project. There should be a wide consultation with stakeholders, where citizens are called, and above all, the scientific experts of the IISc are consulted and asked to give their views on this particular project, and also on whether there are better and more feasible alternatives for meeting Bangalore's transport problems. So this project is economically unwise, ecologically disastrous, and also morally dubious. For all these reasons, citizens must oppose this project.
Dr. A. Ravindra is a former Chief Secretary of Karnataka and the visionary who helped shape the city's metro and property tax reforms, a scholar in development studies and a lifelong champion of sustainable urban planning. We are honored to introduce Dr. A. Ravindra.
See, the tunnel road in Bangalore has been planned by the present government with the objective of reducing the congestion in Bangalore, that is traffic congestion in the city, because it's certainly too much of traffic congestion, overcrowded, and so on and so forth. But then I think the full implications of this tunnel road have not been properly analyzed or understood by the authorities that be. I'll tell you one, you see, if the objective is to reduce congestion, on the other hand, it is going to increase congestion. The urban transport policy for a city. Now, even according to the Government of India, which has released an urban transport policy, the main objective is to promote public transport and discourage private transport. That means the number of private vehicles should get reduced, whereas the number of private public transport should get increased. That is the main objective. So, our argument is that you promote public transport. As it is, for instance, the Bangalore Metro, Namma Metro, is doing a good job, and people, it is quite popular. People travel by that. But that is still to expand, and the expansion scheme is underway. So, so that should be expanded. Similarly, even the bus transport system needs to be improved. More buses should be added, proper rationalization of routes, and this should be the priority. That is restricted to mostly cars, four-wheeler. So two-wheelers, three-wheelers are out. And in Bengaluru, 2/3 of the vehicles are two-wheelers and three-wheelers. So most of the transport system, the commuter, are not covered in that. Tunnel road is expected to, or estimated to cost nearly 450 crores per kilometer. Whereas the metro can be built at about 300 crores per kilometer. You see how economical, I mean, comparatively, it must still be high comparatively. Bangalore, the construction of the metro will even be cheaper, because now their estimate for this tunnel road is about 18,000 crores. And added to some flyovers, subways, etc., it will exceed 30,000 crores. And where are you going to get this money from? Of course, they say private sector will come in, public-private partnership, and all this is there. It may or may not succeed. That's another point. But overall, it is not a viable project. The construction phase itself is fraught with numerous problems. See, it is expected to take a little over 4 years or so, they have said, but it may go up to 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, we don't know how long it will take. And since it is underground tunnel, see, the topography of Bangalore is such, stones, rocks and all that. It's going to be a terrible thing, the process. And people will be inconvenienced quite a lot. Even as it is in Bangalore, some construction goes on somewhere or the other, whether it is roads or expansion and things like that. So one should look at the overall process of traffic in the city, the number of vehicles, which is increasing in Bangalore like anything, and what is the best alternative or most viable project to improve the traffic situation in Bangalore. So let me end by saying we must go all out to improve public transport, and at the same time try to have disincentives for private vehicles. See, unless otherwise, like congestion tax, for instance, has been argued. It's already there in some other foreign cities like London and New York and all that. Wherever that has been introduced, there is a clear drop in the traffic movement in those areas. Similarly, here we need to think of innovative ways. I'm not saying that's the only solution. Innovative ways to discourage private transport. Otherwise, it's not just four-wheelers, cars. Nowadays, it is huge cars, big vehicles, and SUVs and all sorts of things, which takes more space on the road, reducing the space for public transport, buses and all. And see, that is another area where we should focus. So Overall, this I would say is the gist of arguments for those opposed to tunnel road in Bangalore.
Justice N. Santosh Hegde is a former Solicitor General of India and Judge of the Supreme Court. He redefined accountability as the Lok Ayukta of Karnataka, a crusader against corruption and a guardian of public interest. We are privileged to welcome Justice N. Santosh Hegde.
After an initial statement that even God cannot solve the traffic problem of Bangalore, a government's leading minister's statement now is, and I quote, only God can help to put stop to the tunnel road project, unquote. The two twin tube tunnel roads, one from north to south and one from east to west, being planned in Bangalore to decongest the notoriously log-jammed city, have been raising a lot of dust and protest by citizens. The estimated cost of both the tunnels, covering about 54.5 kilometers, is projected to be around 40,000 crores. As the tunnels are planned to carry only cars, they will benefit only 23 lakh private car owners of Bangalore, or 2.7 of the state's population. However, how much of these cars will be using this particular stretch of 54.5 kilometers in a day is the question. But given the one-way toll of about rupees 300 and 600 for two-way travel, a daily user of the stretch will have to shell out rupees 18,000 per month. Experts estimate that there may be only 1 lakh car owners who will use these stretches, who can also afford to pay this amount. So how will removing just 1 lakh cars out of the about 1 crore vehicles in a city on a stretch of 54.5 kilometers out of 1,800 kilometers in the entire city decongest the city? Professor Ashish Verma of the Indian Institute of Science has been vociferously presenting statistics on the misplaced priorities of the project. He has revealed that while the passengers per hour per direction carried by tunnel road is only 1,800, it is 69,000 for the metro and 89,000 for suburban rail. Cost-wise also, while suburban rail costs only 110 crores per kilometer, metro's average cost is rupees 500 per kilometer, and the tunnel road project estimated is humongous of rupees 1,000 crore per kilometer for almost no benefit. The percentage of commuters using the public transport is currently 36% in Bangalore. So should the focus be on expanding the public transport network so that at least 75% of the city travels by it, as in London, Singapore and Tokyo. Even more troublesome is the fact that the project has completely bypassed every required due process of law. Any transport plan has to be approved by the Bangalore Metropolitan Land Transport Authority and be a part of its comprehensive mobility plan. The BMLTA Act even foresees punishment for those pursuing project without its approval, but the BMLTA has not been constituted. Absence of the MPC and BMLTA ad hoc plans for the tunnel road are being made merely at the state level. Moreover, the Directorate of Urban Land and Transport has said that the project is not the right solution, and an expert committee set up by the government itself evaluate it has found 121 deficiencies in the detailed project report DPR. Fresh PIL filed by others state that the tunnel roads exclusively for cars violate public trust doctrine under the Article 21 and spending the scarce public resources on discriminatory car-centric facility, privilege and affluent amount to an express way for the elite, violating Article 14, equality before law, EIA. Despite these developments, Bangalore's tunnel road project of DPR has cited the Environmental Protection Act of 2006, which does not specifically mention tunnel roads, as an excuse for not conducting the EIA. This despite the tunnel road affecting the aquifers and bowells supplying the water to Bangalore, running through the 3 billion-year-old rock under Lal Bagh, and 6 acres being proposed to be acquired of this project heritage park. There have not been even essential hydrological, geological or biodiversity studies undertaken on the key impact. Even the sources and destination survey to estimate the likely number of users of this project and to compare it with the alternative project of evaluate the cost and benefits are missing. There has been no public consultation either. The same rupees 40,000 crore if used to be developed integrated in mass rapid transport system by enhancing the number of BMTC buses to 18,000, increasing their reliability and frequency, rerouting them by adopting the hub and spoke method, introducing BRTS on major arterial roads, aiding mini buses for first and the last mile connectivity, speeding up suburban rail project, which have been put on the back burner, would be the real measures that could decongest Bangalore. Also, making a bus transport cheaper than the use of two-wheelers or making it free for all in some South American cities would incentivize the shift of public transport. Other suggestion to desensitize private vehicles by imposing congestion tax, as in many developed countries, have been dismissed as unfeasible. Implementing the parking policy with the graded parking fees even in the residential layout, preventing purchase of second and third cars if the owner cannot show parking space for them, have been ignored by saying that everyone wants to travel in a car and no one wants to marry someone without a car, unquote. Sadly, the saying that a developed country is not one where the poor uses a car, but one where the rich use public transport has not been understood. Above all, with the state spending just 10 to 12% of its annual budget on education and about 4% of its budget on health, both being the national averages and amounting to around about 50,000 crores a year, the skewed priority of wishing to spend rupees 1 lakh crores or more on all the expressways, flyovers and tunnels and roads in Bangalore, privileging just the elite, needs to be questioned by the masses themselves, who are being denied their basic right to decent and dignified life.
Civic Bangalore will continue to bring you the facts and the expert voices, but awareness alone won't stop this project. People will. We need your presence on the ground. Don't just watch from the sidelines. Take a stand, show up, and join the protest. Your city needs you.